everybody? So it is 85 degrees in sunny Southern California. We got the top down on the Jeep, and we are stuck doing 40 fucking miles an hour behind a cop and an idiot in a Dodge that doesn't realize that the speed limit is 50 miles an hour. Dude, you're allowed to pass a cop. If the cop's doing 42 and the speed limit's 50, you are allowed to go 50 to pass the cop. Alright, just a little driving tip. Also, if you're driving in the left lane on the freeway and people are passing you on the right, get the fuck out of the left lanes. Yo, Jeep! Get the Jeep way? What up? So, anyway, just two little driving tips from me. You know, you're allowed to do the speed limit even if it's to pass a cop. And if people are passing you on the right-hand side, you are in the wrong lane. Move over until people are only passing you on the left-hand side. That's how we keep traffic safe. That's how we keep traffic flowing. But that's not what I was going to talk about today. We are talking about murder hornets. Because they murder and they're hornets. I didn't invent that. Bill Nye actually invented that about naked mole rats.
Naked mole rats. They're naked and they're mole rats.
I love Bill Nye. I grew up watching Bill Nye. I loved him to death, and then he got all friggin' political lately. Like, I watched his Bill Nye Saves the World thing, and I don't know, probably 80% of the science was there, and he's the science guy, and he's ignoring the 20% of the science that's actually pertinent to disproving his political beliefs, and he completely ignores it. So fuck you, Bill Nye. Anyway, back to the murder hornets. So the media is quickly realizing that Americans have grown old of the scare tactic of the COVID. We're not as afraid. They can see that we're losing our fear of it. So they're like, oh, hey, shit, let's dig up some stories from last year. Maybe we can recycle them and reuse them for this year and get us a nice, good scare tactic to keep these people at home. You know, keep them watching the news, keep our ratings up. Because they're all going to start going back to work. What's a good reason to keep them inside? Keep them from going outdoors and keep them from watching TV. Murder hornets! So, alright, so this is the exact same recycled bullshit killer bee story from the 80s, except that these aren't killer bees coming up from South America, you know, to kill the population, because, you know, obviously not a whole lot of people died from killer bees. A couple people that went into anaphylactic shock. So they found a YouTube video of this guy from a year and a half ago where he had to go to Japan, search for a bunch of days, and just when all their money was about to be used up, they had expended all of their resources, time, energy. Bam, this guy finally finds one. And you can see how excited he is to find it, because he's like, oh my god, everybody shut the fuck up. I'm gonna get this guy. Don't scare him, don't scare him.
For days we searched in every place possible. Yet much to our chagrin, it seemed as if an encounter with Japan's most notorious insect would elude us. Then on our second to last day in country, when it seemed as if all hope was lost, the very encounter I had been searching for presented itself in the form of a giant hornet.
Hornet.
Hornet, right there. Right in the edge of that leaf. Look at that. It's huge. Right there. Got it! Hornet! Giant Hornet, 100%!
You got one?
Yes. Hold on a second. Yes, right there.
Tells you how scared these murder hornets are of people that he had to, basically sneak up on it. He finally caught it. He induced it to sting him on one of the most sensitive parts of your body. Now, when I was in the Marine Corps and they were teaching us basic survival tips, they taught us, hey, leaflets 3, let it be, that's poison oak, don't fucking eat that, it's bad for you. But if you ever have a doubt, what you can do is, if you pick up a plant and you take the underside of the plant, because any plant that you encounter, the underside is going to be what's poisonous. Like you can rub a poison ivy on the top side of the leaves all day long and not get hurt. But you touch it a little bit on the underside and you are going to be itchy for a little bit. So what they used to teach us is you take the if you're ever in a survival situation, you take the underside of that plant and you rub it on the inside of your forearm, because this is a very, very sensitive area on your arm. Rub it on here, wait a couple hours, see what happens. If it looks itchy, if it looks red, if it gets irritated, then don't eat it. It's bad for you. So this idiot broke like every rule ever on how to gauge, the sting of an animal. This animal, this insect, well, I guess technically it's under the kingdom animal, or Animalia, whatever the fuck. Amelia. So, interesting side note. I think it's like phylum is Vespa. And I never even realized that until today. Those little Vespa scooters, I think they're called Vespas because they sound like little hornets going mee. So I was like, hey, what a genius name for a little scooter, Vespa. Anyway, so I learned that when I was doing my little research. So this guy stings himself on the inside of his forearm, one of the worst places you could possibly get stung. And of course it swells up quickly and a lot, and he's in a lot of pain, but different people have different pain thresholds. And remember, he wants you to be scared, he wants you to watch. Just like the media, when they put out bullshit media propaganda like this.
As if COVID-19 weren't enough to worry about, there is now a murderous hornet from Asia here. It is gigantic, has the potential to be able to decimate the honeybee population here, and it stings like the devil. Jim Murray spoke to a couple of guys who found that out firsthand.
What's it like to be stung by a giant murder hornet?
Ah! Oh, this thing stuck in my arm. Ah! Oh, searing pain. My hand is completely seized up and locked in place.
Wildlife expert Coyote Peterson got stung on his show, Brave Wilderness.
Look at this. If I turn my arm sideways, look at the welt on my... Oh!
It will put you in momentous amounts of pain for close to 6 hours.
We spoke to Peterson today.
My arm kind of ballooned up to twice its normal size, so it was intense. Now, a single sting is not likely to kill a human unless you have an allergic reaction to the venom, but 30 or 40 stings could kill you.
Murder hornets come from Asia and are so aggressive they actually can decapitate an entire hive of honeybees. They've been spotted for the first time in the Pacific Northwest, but there's concern they may spread elsewhere.
Hornets are significantly larger when compared to the honeybee here.
Insect expert Conrad Berube also got stung. He was wearing a full beekeeper suit plus thick sweatpants.
I took 4 stings immediately and stung through 2 pair of pants and drew blood in 2 places.
So as if we didn't have enough to worry about these days, here come murder hornets.
Ah! Ooh!
You definitely don't want to be stung by one of these. Their stinger is about 1/4 of an inch long as opposed to a honeybee, which is just 1/16 of an inch.
That's to keep you staying at home, so you'll watch. And you'll notice they used the video from this guy's show from 1.5 years ago about 2 or 3 Japanese hornets, or Asian hornets, whatever you want to call them. I like to call them murder hornets. So they found 2 or 3 of them up in the Pacific Northwest, and they encourage people, hey, put out hornet traps. We want to see if this is in this station, or if a couple of these just stowed away on some merchandise that ended up in the Pacific Northwest. And that was 1 year ago. They haven't found any since, so this has been a non-story for the last year. But the media wants to scare you because they know that you're losing your fear of the coronavirus, because the average age of somebody that's dying from coronavirus is 80. Meanwhile, the average life expectancy of an American is 77.5. So people are dying 2.5 years past the average life expectancy. And then this doctor's like, oh, well, you know, they're intimidating us into putting coronavirus as the cause of death on these people that are dying of just natural causes.
We've seen 1,227 deaths in the state of California with a possible incidence or prevalence of 4.7 million. That means you have a 0.03 chance of dying from COVID-19 in the state of California. 0.03 chance of dying from COVID in the state of California. Does that necessitate sheltering in place? Does that necessitate shutting down medical systems? Does that necessitate people being out of work?
So whatever your view of the mass quarantines, and maybe you're enthusiastically for them, the questions you just heard are valid questions. In fact, they're critical questions. We should all be asking those questions, including and especially our policymakers. But as Dr. Erickson pointed out later in the video, dissent of any kind is no longer tolerated in this country. Fact-based honesty, which is the soul of science, is under attack, even in hospitals. Dr. Erickson described physicians being pressured to classify illnesses and deaths as related to coronavirus, whether they believe that to be true or not.
We aren't pressured to test for flu, but ER doctors now, my friends that I talk to say, you know, it's interesting, when I'm writing up my death report, I'm being pressured to add COVID. Why is that? Why are we being pressured to add COVID to maybe increase the numbers and make it look a little bit worse than it is? I think so.
They're intimidating these doctors into putting COVID as the cause of death so they can raise the death counts, even though just because they had the antibodies for coronavirus, that's not what killed them. What killed them is they got their head cut off, or they fell down the stairs and broke their neck. But yeah, but they have coronavirus in their system, so put coronavirus as the cause of death. This doctor put that video up on YouTube, and YouTube deleted it because it doesn't go to the narrative. YouTube wants you to stay at home too. YouTube wants you to stay at home and watch YouTube videos, because how does YouTube get paid? You don't pay to upload your videos. YouTube gets paid by sponsors. The only way that the sponsors will pay YouTube money is if you watch videos on YouTube. Anyway, so these murder hornets are indigenous to East Asia, South Russia. They're not coming here. They're not going to get you. You know, do a little research, folks. Y'all are sitting at home. You got plenty of time on your hands. Don't believe what I'm telling you. Go and research this for yourself. You don't know if I took those videos out of context. You don't know if I'm just making shit up, which, I don't know, probably 20% of the time I am just making shit up because I read it, but then I don't really remember exactly what it says, so I just throw a fucking number out. So because I'm too lazy to edit. I don't like editing. Editing takes a lot of time and energy. I would rather just spew out some weird random fact. I'm like, I don't even know if the average age is 77.5. In America, it could be 77.3. But 77.5 jumped in my head, so fuck it. That's what I'm saying. That's what you guys are stuck with. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Get down to the beaches. They finally opened up the beaches. You can do everything on the beach except for suntan. Because I guess if you lay down, the coronavirus is going to get you. So, thanks again, guys. Have a great, wonderful weekend. I'll see you next time. Bye. Yay! I'm very happy to see this. I never thought in my life I would be excited to see traffic. Look at all this traffic, people going out of town. Yay! Go live your lives. That's a nice BMW. Caution, quarantine birthday. You are invited. I fucking love it. Oh, yay, the people have finally risen. We shall fight the power. We shall overcome. People are finally realizing. This is what I love about Orange County and Riverside County are adjacent to each other. Mostly Republicans down here. We know bullshit. You know, look, we'll put up with some bullshit for a little bit. We've put up with the bullshit for long enough. Now we're going out of town. We're making fun of this shit. Love it. Everybody get out and live your life. I'm going to do a video later about how many of our constitutional amendments they have taken away under the guise of coronavirus. I think they've taken out 7. They have taken away 7 of your 10 rights under the Bill of Rights alone. It is absolutely ridiculous how easily you people will give up your rights. Just because somebody says, well, this is going to kill a lot of people. You know what kills a lot of people? Cigarettes. Cigarettes kill a lot of people. We don't shut down the fucking economy. Actually, I'm pretty sure that other than obesity, cigarettes is the #1 leading preventable cause of death. Obesity is a preventable cause of death because you don't have to eat that much. You don't have to eat that kind of food. You know? But anyway. So I'm just happy to see traffic. I'm happy to see that people are getting out. Let's get around each other. Come on. There is no reason to shut down an economy of 328 million people to save 70,000 people that are 80 years old and have lived their lives. Let us live our lives, please.